What's up, gente? What's up, Raza? Let's talk about something really important today. Who needs to die and who needs to live and why? So, as you can tell by the thumbnail there, I said MAGA must die. MAGA must die. Make America great again must die. That ideology, that way of thinking, that camp definitely must die. And what must live? Donald Trump must live, and I'll tell you why. And it's not because I'm a fan, but let me explain to you what I mean by MAGA must die. Well, America has never been great, ever, 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 ever. Slavery, you name it, genocide of indigenous people, you name it. Even the atrocities being committed today, war crimes and threats against people like Cuba, those are slow genocides, right, taking place. But MAGA has come along, and especially in the 2000s, especially with the technology today that we have, supposedly we are supposedly evolved as a people, but MAGA has come along and set us back big time when it comes to race relations, relations with other people around the world, different groups including women's rights, right, the marginalized groups who get pushed around, hunted down by MAGA minded people. Uh, MAGA has made it easier for people to use the N word to tell somebody to go back to Mexico or something stupid like that, right? Has made it cool for especially not just white kids. I won't even put it on just white kids, but definitely young white kids, white men, but also men and women in general who want to be part of something, right? So that they may be brown, they may be black. It's made it easier for them to belong in a hate group like that, to belong in a club of white supremacy and extremism. And that includes Christian extreme nationalism, right? So MAGA is that. MAGA, unfortunately, too, is a poor white man's club in many ways because even though it's run by billionaires and millionaires, the few there, just like any other model, right? Class struggle is important here. The vast majority, a lot of them, they are not millionaires and not billionaires, they're poor whites. And they buy into this ideology called "Make America Great Again," and for hope that maybe their life is going to get better. And as a result, we get these ICE raids, these policies with immigration. We get these killings of immigrants, of people on the streets, innocent people on the streets, and that kind of that is made easier with the MAGA ideology, with people's way of thinking. And I say this because I want people to understand that MAGA is not new in a sense because we get one of these every so often, but we've never seen it this bad, funded by our own tax dollars and now pushed to the limit with AI and all this technology to where you can't tell the truth from something that's not true. We're watching this where people are crumbling and families are falling apart because of MAGA. They will, these people, unfortunately, this ideology again has made it easier for people to come out with the use of the N word and the lynchings that have been taken out on, going on across the country, really, and the slow death of countries, including, for example, like Cuba and others, where if you don't bow down to the United States, they're going to choke you, right? So MAGA must die. It definitely must die. That ideology must die. And if you've been somebody who voted for Donald Trump or if you've been MAGA, you need to change this thinking because history will not remember you very well. It will not. It will remember you as a genocide, a baiter, a genocide enabler, you name it, sex trafficking with the Epstein files enabler, right? All because you wanted to hang out with billionaires and millionaires who could care nothing about you. They could care less about you. I said the other day that Donald Trump hates white people, and he does, but he especially hates poor white people. He hates poor white people, disabled veterans. He hates anybody who doesn't quote unquote look good, even if you're white, but especially poor white people. So MAGA, if anything, those people should start thinking, look in the mirror and be honest with yourself. Your life ain't going to get any younger or better under this. So uh, change the way you're thinking because MAGA definitely must die. For those of us who are fighting against it on a daily basis, we definitely want to see it gone. We want to see it dead. We know racism is a creation by especially white Americans, and earlier it was the colonizers and the imperialists, including the British, right, with their junk science and their beliefs in white supremacy. So we know that this has been around. It's nothing new, but it must die. One last point about MAGA. We're sitting, yeah, the other day protesting on behalf of Mexican national, and that was shot by ICE. Right? It's come out now that they were lying about how they shot him. Salgado is his last name, right? Lorenzo Salgado, and he's from Houston, Texas. And then there was another protest we went to, and in this case, it was a young black man named Wells, Nolan Wells, and in this case, his body was found, and all the white people were with him. Ain't nobody talking, right? While we're standing there protesting in both cases, in both events, and this was an all long day event where we're doing security for the people. Somebody yells, "Go back to Mexico." Somebody yells, "Ice, ice, baby," laughing. And these are grown men in downtown Fresno who probably work there, uh, but they yell that out the door and think it's funny. Well, we go to the young black man's event, or I should say, protest in support for Nolan Wells, whose body was found, a black man. And while we're sitting there, young white men drive by and shamelessly yell out the N word, the hard R, not even the A, just yell out, and they laughing it up, right? We're sitting there with all these African American people, black people, young and old, who, man, you thought in 2026 you might not get that. You got that in broad daylight. That's MAGA. That's MAGA for you. It's made it easier for you to, go after somebody because of race, go after somebody because of disability, after somebody because they're a woman or whatever marginalized group you fill in the blank. But worse is a lot of these same people are probably poor people who are not benefiting from Donald Trump's wars, from MAGA's wars, from MAGA's policies, from MAGA's stupid decisions, racist decisions, and so on. They're part of our class for the most part. And deep inside they know it. They know it, or will know it, or should know it, right, in the future. But they're standing up for this horrible belief and ideology. That's why when I say MAGA must die, that's what we're talking about. And so why do I say Trump must live? Not because I like him. No, anybody who knows me knows I do not like Donald Trump. And I make this video as a brown beret because I want people to understand brown berets. We've been evolving for years, including the history, our social political positions. We are not just security guards out there doing security for people. We are not that. Never were that. By the way, people have to understand. We have a way of thinking, a chicanismo, and the way we view the world is from the lens of those people who are already here, indigenous people, particularly those called themselves Chicano, not necessarily Mexican American, although there was a lot of Mexican Americans. There's a lot of brown berets who come from different indigenous backgrounds. And because of that, we have to remember Donald Trump is not the first president. He is not the first person to hate us and to treat us this way. That doesn't mean go out and like the guy. No, no. But this is why he must live. He needs to live long enough to see the damage come back and haunt him, come back and laugh in his face, come back and remind him that with the ugliness he created, and look what you've done. He needs to live long, or at least I would hope he can live long enough to regret. Maybe he won't. He doesn't appear to have that in his bones. But hey, he's breathing, thinking type of human. Maybe he has a something deep inside called the soul, if you believe in that, right? Or a mind that later on he'll realize how he screwed up and maybe he won't care. But he needs to witness MAGA die. He needs to witness his own family ridiculed and pointed out and prosecuted. If there was ever time to prosecute somebody, prosecute his sons. All those little punks getting rich off of Americans and the death of people across the world, buying stock, whether it be for firearms or weapons of war or other stuff that is like AI investing stuff. That whole family is corrupt. We know a lot of these families are corrupt. The ones who serve in the office of the presidency, but this one is doing it outright. So he needs to see that long enough. Maybe seeing his two sons marched out, in handcuffs, bearing, I don't know, somebody calling him out, or send him to war. See what happens. His own daughter is corrupt. They're not getting away either. So he needs to live long enough to see the horribleness of who his family is and how they're going to be treated afterwards. So I am not a registered Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent here speaking to you as an activist, organizer, and brown beret. And I want you all to understand that when we say MAGA must die, we're talking about white supremacy, racism, hate must die. When young college students or young men and older men, of a different race, but could be Mexican too. Yeah, even black, run around think it's okay to tell people to go back to Mexico or use the N word outright openly like that. We're in a bad place in history. So that's why I'm telling you this. And why I say again, Trump must live. It's because the fool needs to be alive to see and hopefully regret what he's done. I doubt that'll happen, but it'd be beautiful for him to witness his own sons being, walked out in handcuffs, right? Or arrested for something by somebody. Because if we truly want, the world to change, it's going to have to start with us. So this is not new as a history teacher, I'll tell you that. But we definitely want MAGA to die. That must die. Trump must live to see it. All right, I'm out. And que viva la raza. Oh.